This is the Clever Slider card die. Check this out. Isn't that cool? I really like this. I just think it's so fun. So let's make it. Okay, so we have a big one. This is the front and back of the die, and then these two are the actual mechanisms that make the card go up and down. And then this is the tab, the pulley tab. And then we have two little decorative pieces also. Okay, there's a smaller one and then there's a bigger one. So we need to pick one of each, and you just want to make sure that it matches the outside, matches the inside, or it makes sense. So this one says, "May your day be as wonderful," and this one says, "As you are." So we're going to use these two for our first sample card. Okay, so I cut out the front and back panel and on the impress machine, and then you just this will be the inside of the card, which you're not going to see, and then this will be the outside of the card. So the next thing you want to do is you want to cut the sliding panel. The bottom part is going to be the opening of the smaller panel, and then the opening for the larger panel is going to go up top. Okay, so that's how it should be set on your plates. So whenever you cut this out, you want to make sure that your the lines on the left are going up and the lines on the right are facing down. And then you want to take this and flip it upside down on top of your scene. And when you do that, you want to make sure that you have enough space going a border all the way around, just so it doesn't get cut off, and get kind of out of whack. And then the same with the larger panel. You want to make sure the lines are going down on the left and the lines are going up on the right, and your opening is at the top. And when you put this one on, you want to do the same thing. You want to make sure that you have a little tiny bit edge on the bottom and an edge on the sides. Okay, so let's cut those out. And when it's cut out, you can see that the cut edge is going to be on the left, right here. And for the bigger panel, you can see that there is no cut edge, but your line should be on the left going up, and your line should be facing down on the right. Okay. The next thing we want to cut is the tab, which is the tab that pulls the actual mechanism, the panels up and down. And you can cut that out of whatever kind of cardstock you want. I'm going to use this pink. Okay. And then also, just to decorate the outside of the card, I'm going to use another die right here, just to give it a nice edge right here that goes around the sides. And we're going to use this die to do that, and we're going to miter the corners so that we have a nice corner. And then this right here is the die that you put on the inside of the large frame die so that you can get a cut opening. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this in the middle because, I'm not going to use that middle section for anything. And let's cut that. Okay, so we have our inside decorative piece, and we also have the pull tab, and we're ready to go. So let's assemble everything. So I like to fold back the corners, the edges, fold them back, and then I like to miter, to use my bone folder and crease them just so they're nice and crisp on the edges. So here we go. And then I do that for all three sides. And actually there's only two sides. So you have this side right here and this side right here. Okay, and then the middle. Okay. And then we just crease that really good. And I flip it over and crease it on the other side too. There. Okay, so this is our actual card base, and this is where the inside of the panels is going to go. Okay, so let's assemble this. Okay, the first thing we want to do is you want to lay out the two panels, and you want to make sure that the smaller panel on the left side is the opening, and then on the larger panel you want to make sure that the words basically should be looking at you. So if your words are looking at you and you can read your words correctly and they're not upside down, then you know you have it right. But you want to make sure that the lines on the left are facing up and the lines on the left are facing down. Okay, and then you want to flip these over. Okay, and when you flip them over, what you want to do is you want to take the smaller panel, okay, because it's going to be in the front, and you want to put it into the bigger panel, which is on the back. And the way that you can do that is when you turn it over, you want to take the first bottom piece right here and stick it into the hole right there. And when you do that, you can take the second one and stick it in the second hole, and the third one in the third hole, fourth one and fifth one. So it should look like that. Okay, and then you just scoot it over a little bit and just make sure that all of the sides are in all of the green parts are inside the pink parts. And when you flip it over, you should be able to see that each one should have a little triangle on the back. And then you just want to make sure that it's lined up perfectly on the sides like that, all the way around. Okay, all right, so then we're done with that. So the next step is to put on adhesive. Okay, so I'm using score tape, but you can use any strong double-sided adhesive that you want to use. And you basically just want to go around the edge of the green or the outside layer panel. So I put a little piece of score tape right here, and there's a little a score line right here. I put a piece of score tape right there, and the reason I did that is so that if a person would happen to pull the card all the way up and just keep going and try to pull it, and then you try to get it to go back down, sometimes it will get stuck. It may get stuck right here on this very last piece of cardstock. So if you put a piece of score tape right here on the bottom, you don't have to worry about it getting stuck. If they pull it up too far, it will still go back down. So that's one thing that's not in the instructions that I recommend doing, just to put a piece of score tape right there. Okay, so now that we're done with that, the next step is that we want to adhere the actual panels inside of the card base. Okay, so you want to get your card base out, open it up. Okay, make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, and then we want to turn this upside down, or basically just put it, we can just basically put it in. You want to close it and make sure that everything fits in there before you take the tape off. So just put your panels in, make sure everything fits in there nice and snug. You're good to go. Okay, and then you open it back up. If everything is in there correctly, you want to make sure that the pink is the back layer is lined up perfectly with the top layer. You don't want it to be off, because if it is off, it's going to mess up the mechanism. So make sure that your edges are lined up perfectly straight right there. Okay, so put this in your card base. Okay, and you want to go all the way down to the bottom. Okay. All right. And then once you have that in there right, you want to take off, you want to take one hand and hold this down, take your other hand and take off the pieces of adhesive. Okay. So I'm taking all those off. Okay, all the adhesive is off. Now just check it and make sure that it's lined up. Make sure everything's lined up. Everything looks good. and then you want to close this, okay? And when you close this, you want to make sure that these tabs are out. You do not want these tabs to be enclosed on the layer. This is the only piece right here that you want to close over top, okay? So take one of your hands, hold it down, take the other hand, and there you go, okay? So now you have the panel, the top panel is connected to the actual card base, okay? So the next thing you want to do is flip this over, okay? And then you want to put adhesive, double-sided adhesive right here on the edge, right here on this edge. You want to put double-sided adhesive here and double-sided adhesive here on the bottom, okay? So let's do that. Put double-sided adhesive on there. So I have double-sided adhesive on the outside part of both tabs of the card layer. So I'm going to flip this back over, okay? And when I flip this back over, the only trick is when you open this up, okay, you're going to see that the green, the top layer is attached to the card, but the bottom layer is not attached. So that is where we are going to put this tab. It's going to go on top of the back layer, okay? And this one is going to go on top of the back layer on the bottom, okay? To hold it down, okay? And you'll see why in a second. So take your tab, put it on top of the back layer, okay? And you don't want it to be on this part of the card, okay? You only want it to be on this back part. And we're going to take the double-sided adhesive off the release paper. We're going to take this off the top and the bottom, the side and the bottom, okay? And then what you want to do is take your hand and hold down the back layer, and then take the tab right here, this tab, and you want that to be on top of the back layer. You see how that's on top? And then you just want to close the card, okay? So just close the card. So what you're doing is you're taking the card and you're closing it so that the front of the card is on top of the adhesive that we just put on those tabs, okay? And then your card should look like that. So it looks like an envelope, a closed envelope all the way around. So you can't see anything. It's nice and clean on the back and on the sides, okay? All right. So the last step is for the actual mechanism is to take the tab, okay? You want to fold that over and then put some double-sided adhesive on the inside of the tab, and then we're going to put that on top of the card. Okay, so once you have the double-sided adhesive on the inside of the tab, we want to take off the release paper, and then we want to adhere the tab onto the card where the opening is on the top. So that would go right here. Right here, this piece right here, that's where you want to put the tab. And you want to put it on the back. You want to go all the way down as far as you can go. Well, not as far as you can go. You want to leave a little bit of space for them to pull the tab. So I would say about right there. Yeah, you want to leave a little bit of space at the top so they can pull it. And then you want to pull your tab. Isn't that cool? It says, "May your day be as wonderful as you are." I just love that. It's so cool. And the fact that I had put extra tape right down here on the bottom, now it doesn't get stuck. So even if you pull it all the way up, it still goes back down. Okay. And you can leave it like this if you want, but I like to embellish it. Decorate the back. You don't have to decorate the back if you don't want to, but I like to decorate the back and also like to put a signature card on the back so I have a place to sign my name and put a little message. And then I like to take a piece of decorative foil and put that on the back also. I adhered a decorative layer frame to the back, and then I put a signature card on the back so that we can write a nice message to the recipient and also sign our name, and it gives us a place to write, because without it would be hard to write on top of colored cardstock. So I'm going to do the same thing for the front. Here's the finished card. Please tell me what you think about it in the comments. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Also, turn on the notification bell and subscribe so you can be notified of my next video. Thank you. Happy crafting.